Thank you for staying with us. I want to get right into our second conversation of the afternoon here on Business Today. 1 in every 14 people has a hearing disability. And you know what? Google has decided to tackle this problem. They've launched a new application that's powered by artificial intelligence that will help people with hearing disabilities get a chance to participate in conversations as well as be aware of their surroundings. Now, joining me to talk further is Sagar Savla, who is the Senior Manager for Google Artificial Intelligence Research, and he's actually developed this particular app, Google Live Transcribe. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So thank you for joining me, Sagar.
Thanks for having me here, Malika.
So first of all, you're telling me a little bit of a personal backstory behind you developing this app just now. So tell me more now. Why did you decide to develop it?
So it started, I'm originally from Bombay, India, and ever since I was studying engineering, I always wanted to see if I could use it to help my community. And growing up, I was seeing that my grandmother was slowly getting age-onset hearing loss, where initially she would just watch TV super loud, but to the point where now she could not participate in a conversation. And it kind of came about when I was working in this team at Google, where we had a new researcher joining our team, Dimitri, who is deaf since the age of 1. And another engineer on our team had frustrations communicating with him. So Dimitri did have an interpreter, but you cannot just schedule an interpreter for an ad hoc conversation. You cannot just pull aside the person to have a side conversation or just riff off of ideas. And so Chet, our engineer, he just cooked up this prototype in one weekend to see if he could use AI for something like this. And it was so good that Dimitri started using it almost every day since that day. And once we started using it, we realized that maybe this is something that is useful for a lot more people. And that's when we started collaborating with researchers at Gallaudet University. It's a university for the deaf and hard of hearing in the US. It's the only university for them. And so they are kind of the forerunners for deaf access, sign language, etc. And so they know everything about this space. So we showed it to them, the researchers got really excited, and then we started working with them to actually make it into a finished product.
That's amazing. So you actually had people around you who needed that. So of course, you know, it necessitated for you to find a solution for them. But when it comes to how fast it works, I know it has artificial intelligence powering it. So give me a little bit more about the back end of things.
So the way this works is there are two different AI systems that work behind the scenes. One is the system that works on Google Cloud servers. And so because we have Google Cloud services everywhere, we can ensure that you have service that is real time. And the reason why we focused a lot on the real time aspect for our captions is that that is the difference between actually just following along a conversation versus participating in it.
True.
So we made sure that our captions come within 200 milliseconds as opposed to over 1 second. And that just made a complete game changer. Even though the accuracy might not be good enough as compared to a professional interpreter, just getting it that fast and being able to get the essence of a conversation was something that our people who started using it really like a lot.
Amazing. You also said that it has such a wide variety of languages. How many does it have?
It supports over 70 languages, and we are currently a free app on the Android Play Store in over 150 countries. And the reason why we intentionally went with all 70 languages is that we support multiple dialects, for example, for English, including English Kenya and Swahili. And the reason is that we want everybody across the world, whoever is deaf or hard of hearing, be able to easily communicate with the hearing community just by getting captions at the tip of a button.
Okay, and I know artificial intelligence is buzzing right now. A lot of people are trying to see where they can incorporate it, how they can use it. Where do you see the future of such technology going? Where are you seeing the most growth? In what sector can we apply it the greatest?
Artificial intelligence is kind of like a whole new frontier of computing, and I definitely see it as something that is changing different aspects of computing across different applications. So be it your groceries or factory or farming or agriculture, all the way to aviation or self-driving cars that we keep hearing about. And so it is just like a different kind of a tool that is applicable everywhere.
Okay, when it comes to IoT, for instance, we've seen the Internet of Things play a part in so many sectors in Kenya as well, from agriculture to conservation as well. But when it comes to developing that further in Africa, how do you think we can fare when we try to advance this? What are some of the ways we can use to kind of get it even more ingrained?
So I think the first thing that has already happened very well, which is kind of, if you look at M-Pesa or mobile economy, it's something that almost everybody here has a cell phone that can do that kind of activities.
True.
And so you already have connectivity, which is usually the biggest requirement for anything with Internet of Things. The second thing is that once you have so many connected devices, you want to be able to have automated systems that can manage these and actually bring value to people. And that is where AI can come in.
Okay, and as for the app, what else can we expect from you, for instance? What other device have you looked into? What kind of applications are you still developing?
So we are doing a lot of research in the deaf and hard of hearing space just to see of how much can we do speech access. One of the projects that we just recently announced publicly is called Project Euphonia, which is for so Live Transcribe helps you understand a hearing person with their accent with captions. But what if I'm born deaf and I have what is called a deaf accent? The accent is so strong that even apps like Live Transcribe cannot get me correctly. What if I could make an AI system that is personalized to my particular accent and can understand me clearly so that I can communicate back to you? And that is Project Euphonia, which allows you to personalize a model to yourself just by recording and donating a few hours of data, and can create a whole different system that can help you understand and work with systems automatically.
Okay, and so far, how many people have downloaded the app?
Right now, we have over millions of users, and we have a very high rating on the Play Store, which is a testament to how valuable this app is.
Okay, so I think I better download it soon as well.
Thank you.
Finally, you know, when it comes to developing certain applications that help people with disabilities, with difficulties, how far do you think we've tapped into that? Because sometimes, you know, we don't realize that technology has so much potential in helping people through a lot of the issues they suffer daily, as opposed to just for entertainment value.
I would say that we are very early. For example, one of the research things that we found out while developing this app was that in Live Transcribe, not only do you get captions, but you can also hear sound events. So if there is water running, which is something that a lot of our early users actually shared with us, that they were scared because sometimes their bathroom would have water running and they could not hear it. And so at minimum, it is just a big water bill at the end of the month, but at the maximum, there were cases of flooding that would have happened. And so we intentionally surfaced sound events like whistling, baby crying, or dog barking, or water. So that kind of showed us like how early this research is in the space. And I would say that it is just something that we are cracking the case open. Another example of how technology still has a lot more to do for the different accessibility communities is the unemployment rates are extremely high in these communities, which shows that we need to give them better access to communication, choices, jobs, and opportunities.
True, absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us today and for you know, shedding light on this application, and of course so much more that can be done in this space.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was Sagar Savla. He is the head of research at Google, and we were having that conversation on the Google Live Transcribe app that he has created. But let's get back to our Twitter poll question that we asked you today, and that was, in what ways do you think Kenya can benefit by being an oil exporting nation? We had quite a few responses from you that I want to share right now. Well, Jared said, like always, the majority will not benefit. A few influential people in government and business will. I don't even see the price of fuel falling anytime soon. That was Jared. We had Paul Mutuma also say nothing more than the usual looting and greed, and we don't know how it's going to really play out. So that was Paul giving his 2 cents for our Twitter poll question today. Of course, thank you for all your responses, and you can always keep up with us at KTN News KE, and my handle is at Malika Kazia. All right, well, that does bring us to the end of the show this afternoon, but we've got Mbiu ya KTN coming up, so stay with us for that and lots more